AITA for cancelling the entire vacation when I found out that my stepdaughters deliberately hid my daughter's passport to get her to stay home. I've been married to my wife Beth for 5 years. I have a bio daughter named Jessica, she's 18. And I also have 2 stepdaughters named Monica and Leah. They're 25 and 28. Both are single moms and live with us currently. There's been issues about my stepdaughters asking my daughter to babysit the kids. Jessica didn't have a problem with it at first since this is what she does to earn money, but since her stepsisters don't pay her much, she just refused to babysit. We worked this out by having my wife take care of paying for the babysitting. I planned a family vacation for 3 days and everyone wanted to go. However, both Monica and Leah suggested that Jessica stay home and watch the kids since Beth doesn't want her grandkids to come. They said it's because the kids are used to Jessica and hiring another babysitter would cause issues. And also said that Jessica isn't too fond of our destination, but it was obvious that Jessica wanted to go. They insisted and Beth offered to pay her double, and there was just a lot of back and forth on this till I demanded they stop bringing it up. We were supposed to go last week, but when everybody had bagged their bags and was time to go, Jessica found out that she didn't have her passport on her. We searched her bag, then went home and searched there. Beth and my stepdaughters kept insisting that we go back to the airport or else we'd miss our flight. They insisted that Jessica stay at home with the kids. They even told the new babysitter to go home cause she was no longer needed. I refused to go and kept searching for the passport till Monica admitted that she helped Leah hide Jessica's passport to get her to stay home with the kids. I was livid. I tried to get her to tell me where it was, but she said Leah had it. Leah denied, so I threatened to cancel the vacation. That's when they gave it back. I decided to actually cancel the vacation and blew up at both of them and berated them. They stayed upstairs for a while and Beth refused to speak to me and said that I punished my stepdaughters for worrying about their kids and wanting them to stay with someone they know. I got told I overreacted and ruined the trip for everybody. Editing to mention that kicking my stepdaughters out isn't possible since my wife co-owns the house that we currently live in.
NTA. Both of your stepdaughters and your wife are toxic.
NTA, except for how you let them treat Jessica. She should get taken on vacation. Your wife and her kids and grandkids should stay home with the parents are so worried about their kids that Jessica is the only babysitter. They need to stay home.
Your stepdaughters both and your wife is worse. NTA, and you should be reconsidering this marriage. Pouting.
NTA. Time to kick the stepdaughters to the curb.
NTA. Your stepchildren and wife however are. Your stepchildren are spoiled entitled brats. Your wife up that your child should stay home to watch their children. How about Beth, misses the vacation and babysits her grandkids? Or how about the parents do it? They don't get to force their step-sibling to miss vacation because they want her to babysit. They wanted to not have to pay since your wife pays her for it. They knew they'd have to pay good money to someone to watch their children. Honestly, tell your daughter not to help them anymore. They lost that privilege. I also would buy her a safe, keep her valuables in it since they are known to steal. Honestly, I'd divorce and kick them all out. Well, minus your bio, you say the kids love Jessica. They probably love her because she pays attention to them unlike their mothers.
NTA. To be honest, I would have kicked your wife and lazy no-good stepchildren out right then and there and ended the marriage. If they were 12, I might understand this level of entitlement and immaturity. But in their late 20s? And with your wife? She should have roasted them for pulling this BS.
YTA, you've heard of Cinderella. Protect your daughter, get her TF out of there.
NTA. This is Cinderella, the prequel.
Location flag, 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 location flag. NTA. Leave Beth and her daughters and you and Cinderella get out of there before it's too late.
Rebook the vacation. Someplace your daughter will be a less expensive trip this time because the passport-stealing stepdaughters and their spawn can stay home and think about what they did. You didn't ruin anything. Your stepdaughters did. NTA.
This, right here. Your stepdaughters learned this attitude and more of behavior. A and D, it's not hard to see where from. Dude, this is not okay. Your wife is not a nice person here. At all. NTA.
NTA but also YTA. This was not enough. I would have taken my daughter on vacation and left the rest at home. I would have told them to be moved out by the time we were back. How dare they?
NTA. You don't just have a stepdaughter's problem, you have a wife problem. I would rethink your current family situation, and how your daughter is being treated.
I wonder why both of them are single. Oh, wait, I think I know. OP's wife and her daughters are all assholes. I feel sorry for OP's daughter to be subjected to the likes of these, and she has been subjected to them for years now because of OP.
I'm afraid this is not an option since my wife co-owns the house.
Your NTA. This is a serious red flag from your wife. What else has been going on that you've ignored or not caught? It's time to tell your child that you both need to have an honest conversation, alone and away from the others, and find out what's going on. Make sure she knows she can be fully honest with no repercussions.
The enabling stepmom needs to stay home too. I'm not convinced she didn't plan the whole campaign to leave Jessica behind.
You're right. After seeing where my wife stands in this, I'm beginning to consider some things.
Piggybacking on this, I take the rosy glasses off and reflect on whether this person ever loved you, or if you're just a meal ticket. She, her two almost 30-years-old daughters and all of their kids live with you, along with your own barely adult daughter. They expect free vacations, but also will actively harm your daughter to force her to do their parenting. They're literally treating her like Cinderella. This isn't a marriage, it's indentured servitude. Get the away from the whole rotten bunch of them and enjoy your time with your daughter before she spreads her wings and starts a life of her own. You can't get this time with her back if they ruin the rest of it, so take them out of the equation.
Divorce and make her buy you out so you and daughter can live somewhere that daughter isn't treated like Cinderella.
Where your wife stands is treating your daughter like hired help. Your home sounds like a toxic, unhealthy environment for your daughter. Why would you stay in a situation like this?
Ask your daughter how your wife treats her when you're not around.
I was about to make the Cinderella comparison as well.
Yeah, there is no way the wife wasn't in on this too. She absolutely knew about this plan. OP needs to ditch all three of them.
This is like a modern Cinderella story. Time to get rid of the wicked stepmom and stepsisters.
It's difficult to know when you are being abused until someone tells you that you are.
I hope the OP sees this. You know well if they're blatantly acting like this, and then the wife is defending them, that they've been bullying her and or belittling her behind his back.
Exactly. Reading the title I was sure this was going to be about teenagers being to each other. The daughters are in their mid-20s and pulling like this? The shittiness is baked in by now. Sorry. And the wife's actions make it clear just where they learned it.
Both daughters living at home with their kids and mom has to pay the youngest to watch said kids because the two stepdaughters don't pay enough for childcare they apparently very much appreciate. I almost dropped my phone reading how ridiculous. This situation, holy heck.
I also thought, am I reading Cinderella?
Wash the dishes, Cinderella. Do the mopping.
And update the will in secret before taking any steps forward.
I would have cancelled everyone's vacation except mine and bio daughter. Everyone else can stay home and watch their own kids.
Manipulators can be very skilled, and they're using their children as emotional blackmail, which is highly effective leverage, unfortunately.
Not even hired help still usually get to quit. OP's wife pays but doesn't allow her stepdaughter to refuse to do the work. She uses earlier coerced work as justification for further forced work, and she is on board with making her stepdaughter stay home while the others go have a good father was dead. You're not dead, OP, so do something to protect your daughter from your wife and stepdaughters who treat her like an indentured servant.
What about the part where evil stepmother doesn't want her grandkids to come on, which led to all of this chaos?
Talk to your daughter one-on-one. I wonder how many other things like this, smaller and less noticeable, have happened as well. Good luck. I pray for both of your sakes this was a one-off incident. I have a feeling it wasn't their kids your stepdaughters were worried about and your wife knows it. Sounds like your daughter is being pushed out so your wife and stepdaughters can have one big happy family, without the outsider. Please talk to your child and really listen to her.
Op needs to ditch all 5 of them. Don't forget the 2 actual kitties.
I was just about to say this. The wife obviously knew what the stepdaughter were up to, and her response proves it. Who tells the babysitter to go home? They were counting on Op being more concerned about going on the trip than finding his daughter's passport. The stepdaughter and wife are trying to treat OP's daughter like a modern-day Cinderella. I'm not saying that he should divorce his wife, but he should seriously reconsider if his marriage, in its current iteration, is a healthy situation to be in.
Reschedule the vacation and take only Jessica. Poor kid.
Op would be a fool to think his wife wasn't involved or, at least, supportive of this insanity.
If you won't say it, I will. He should divorce his wife. With how on board Beth was to leave his daughter home the second they couldn't find her passport, I don't believe for a second that she wasn't in on the plan to hide it. I think it's disgusting when parents prioritize their new spouse over their existing child, especially when that new spouse has shown their parenting role model is the evil stepmother from Cinderella. Op is wrong to be with this woman, and to let her and her daughters be around his daughter at all. I highly doubt this is the first time they've all openly treated his daughter like a and if he's a good father, this kind of behavior should be a deal-breaker.
Yep, if Op dies first, there's no way his daughter is getting even a sliver of her inheritance. This is Cinderella evil stepmother and horrible stepdaughters to the max, making Cinderella do all the chores. Op, get your affairs in order then file for divorce. Random person on Reddit edit. I can't type.
You, positive elk 8110, you need to read this comment. Wait until your wife and stepdaughters are out of the house and then ask your daughter to be honest with you about how your wife treats her when you're not around, and how her stepsisters treat her when you're not around. If they were willing to pull this vacation at which your wife was clearly in on, I would bet Jessica is treated far worse than you think. No joke, this feels like a modern Cinderella story. Your daughter deserves better than this, and your loyalty should lie with her rather than your wife. And stepdaughters. As someone who is dealing with something similar, this is the kind of thing where your daughter will end up cutting all contact with you. It's your job to protect her and have her back, and you are failing miserably at it by letting your wife and stepdaughters treat her like this. There needs to be immediate consequences for this behavior and some strong boundary setting followed by actually enforcing those boundaries. Some possibilities. Everyone needs to apologize to will no longer be available to babysit, unless she freely decides to. With no coercion or bullying or guilt tripping or manipulating from anyone, so stepdaughters will need to find alternative childcare just like every other single mom has to do. If it's such a big deal your wife can babysit her own grandkids for the pennies your stepdaughters are willing to. Needs a keyed lock on her bedroom door if there isn't one already so she has somewhere safe to retreat to. You can keep a spare for emergencies as long as you tell absolutely no one else where it is besides Jessica. The point is to keep everyone else out of her space in case of is only responsible for herself and her own needs. No cleaning up after other people, no taking care of kids, nothing except letting her live her life as independently as possible given the situation. She's an adult and deserves to be treated like a minimum. Wife needs to agree to marriage. Counseling. There needs to be a plan in place with concrete steps and timelines. If she doesn't meet them, divorce. If she refuses counseling or apologizing for her abhorrent behavior, divorce. If she continues to enable her daughters and treat Jessica poorly, divorce. And then you need to follow through on this. Quietly look into what it would take for you to either move out or buy out your wife regarding the house. Is her name on the actual deed or just the mortgage? Mortgage equals a divorce lawyer to find out what your options are even if you don't end up going down that road. A lot of them will do free consultations. It's better to be prepared than to scramble to find someone should you need it. Update the beneficiaries on any accounts. If it were me, Jessica would be the sole beneficiary unless you are 100% committed to continuing the marriage, fully knowing your wife and stepdaughters aren't going to change. Updating your will, or writing one if you don't have one, would also be a good idea. Do these things quietly so no one flips. If things end up working out with the wife, you can always change them back. Right now your greatest concern needs to be your own child. Not your wife, not your stepdaughters. Your own child. Wife and stepdaughters have made it very clear through their actions that they do not accept Jessica as family, do not respect her, and do not think she deserves to be treated like a human. Someone shows you who they are, listen the first time. They are not going to change. This is who they are. It's your job as a parent to look out for your own children and prioritize them over a new wife and stepdaughters who only care about is watching your every move, I guarantee it. How you handle this situation will likely determine the relationship you have with her going forward. Are your terrible wife and stepdaughters worth more to you than your own daughter? If she means anything to you at all, if you value your relationship with her at all, you will do what's necessary to rectify this situation to her satisfaction and protect her going forward. Even if that means divorcing your YTF, would you stay married to such a mean, cruel person? Grow a backbone and protect your daughter. Your wife and stepdaughters are grown adults who can take care of themselves. Your daughter is still a teenager and could really use someone looking out for her. If you love your daughter, you will be that person for